Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
What is up, everybody? It's Chris back again with another weekly episode of Angler Talk. And man, for December, the fishing here in New Jersey is still very, very good. It's not lights out. There are plenty of bass all the way up and down the coast still being caught from Raritan Bay all the way down to Atlantic City. And of course, as we all know, you guys are probably sick and tired of me saying it, but it is tog season, and I am seeing a lot of pictures of great tog. I can't wait to get out there in the next week to catch some of these little piggies. But guys, get out there, man. The fishing is still hot for December. You know, the weather isn't too bad. The ocean's still cooperating very, very well, and there's plenty of great table fare to catch or even just to have fun. Get out there, man. But this week I got a guest by the name of James Wright. He is the owner and operator of Wrighteous Tackle. One of the best lure painters I've ever seen to date. And, I've known and met quite a few. And this kid is definitely up there. He's top notch. And we're going to talk about some of his baits and hopefully showcase some off. And I hope you guys enjoy. And here I am with James Wright from Wrighteous Tackle. How we going, brother?
Good. How are you?
Oh, man, I can't complain, man. I mean, after a long day, working hard like a dog, I get to shoot the breeze with you, man. And, you're big on the platform TikTok, and I gotta say, man, every time you make a video or post something, I stand there in awe, man. I mean, you paint some really amazing looking hard plastic baits, man. And how did you get into this?
So honestly, I don't know. A while back, I had planned on making rods for like the longest time. Like that was my goal last July, was to start making rods by like November, December-ish. And at first I never planned on doing hard baits or never even thought about doing hard baits or any kind of artistry, if you will, art stuff. And it just kind of fell into place where I never got into rods, and I started painting lures. And I can tell you right now, if you told me to draw you a tic-tac-toe board, it would come out crooked. But when it comes to painting lures, I can end up, I can put two and two together on them for whatever reason. Never could throughout high school, never could throughout college, nothing like that. And for whatever reason, when it comes to lures, I can put two and two together on them. So,
hey, man, I hear you, but I'm just happy that everything fell the way that it did, because I mean, you make one hell of a product. And we were speaking a little bit before we started recording, and some of these lures that you're painting, besides looking realistic, they are spot on accurate. Like I know you got a couple there in front of you. I mean, if you want to show some of these people what I'm talking about, I mean, this bluegill pattern, these shad patterns that you got are just through the roof amazing.
but yeah, I'll show off a few of them. So I mean, the ones that everybody always seems to talk about are my bigger swim baits that I do. I mean, I love doing these things. They turn out great. They take a long time to do, but that's one of them.
Man, and how many hours go into doing a paint job like that?
I mean, so one like this, and usually I don't just paint one of lures. I'm doing like 3 or 4 at a time, especially like these. It just speeds up the process a little bit. But for each swim bait, I probably have about an hour total into it throughout the whole process. So it's not forever long, but it's definitely longer than a lot of my crankbaits and stuff like that, where I can just whip them up in, I don't know, 20 minutes or so and do a batch of them. But the crappie pattern.
Oh man, that is spot on.
Yeah,
I mean, for the people watching this on YouTube, I mean, you can only see so much on here, but like if you check his TikTok out, I'm pretty sure you'll be just as amazed as I am. I mean, I know a lot of guys who watch this show are saltwater guys, but we also got quite a few freshwater guys. And let me tell you something, this guy has definitely got something in the arsenal for you. I mean, you want to talk about matching the hatch. I mean, Wrighteous Tackle is doing the righteous thing and doing it perfect.
I appreciate you. So here's one, and I'm going to tell you flat out that, my TikTok videos are good, and I drop a lot of good transitions and stuff like that. But you really can't tell how good these lures are until you get them in your hands. I'm just going to throw that out there. But here's one that I whipped up on a live one night. Somebody asked me to do a koi fish. and
Oh
I just kind of
wow.
pulled it out. It was it kind of worked out, but everybody liked the koi fish. It was odd.
That's actually really really cool, and from what I know from a lot of my freshwater friends, the lipless crankbait is one of those go-to lures, and I think you hit the pattern right on the head, especially nowadays with people that keep releasing these aquarium fish. They are in our ecosystems pretty much everywhere. So, fish like bass and walleye and pike are actually starting to eat these fish. So these patterns are definitely going to be something that's going to work for you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. It's just me kind of doing my thing down here, so I'm having fun with it. So
And so you are from the great state of Michigan, the home of, some of the Great Lakes. And how is it fishing out there, man? I mean, it's got to be definitely a trophy walleye scene for sure.
oh, for sure. I mean, so I don't go out on Lake Erie much. I'm not one for fishing on the Great Lakes themselves. It's not because
Hmm.
I'm scared of big water or anything. It's just I don't know enough people that go and do that kind of thing, and I really don't care for chartering. But with that, we have the Detroit River, and I go over there quite often for walleye. But really, my main target's bass, and I won't lie to you. It's not like we're in California or Florida where the bass are 15 pounds, but the smallmouth up here what'll get you. You get your good 5 pound smallmouth, and that's where it's at. I would say a really good unheard of smallmouth in Michigan would probably be around 7 pounds. You just don't hear that kind
Wow.
of thing. So it's not
Well,
like it's a big sanctuary state where like you're catching like oh my god fish or whatever, but
yeah.
it's definitely there's so many lakes within 20 minutes of me. I mean, I can go anywhere I want to fish a lot of different species just at the drop of a hat. So
Yeah, I hear you, man. And smallmouth, from what I hear, is one of those holy grail fish for, guys who really like to target bass. Like I know a lot of people down in the southern states like Alabama and Florida, like we mentioned, they don't really have smallmouth bass. So when you start talking about fishing, and like what when I did, I would start talking about fishing. They asked me if I freshwater fish, and I was just like, no, what kind of freshwater fish you have up in Jersey? I said, well, we got smallmouth. They're like, oh man, you got smallmouth, and you see the eyes light up, and you just start hearing them go on and on and on. But from what I hear, smallmouth bass fight probably twice or three times as hard as a largemouth. Am I correct on that?
for sure, for sure, it's funny. Depending on what lake you go to, a lot of lakes, some lakes up here have smallmouth and some don't. It depends on the body of water, really. Um, I fish a lot of river systems. It seems like anymore. So
Yeah.
everywhere I go, like the St. Joe River, the Kalamazoo River, they have smallmouth in them, and that's what I'm more than less I'm targeting, unless it's panfish season.
I
So
hear you.
during May, I mean, you catch your panfish a lot. So
So are crappie as good as everybody says they are?
I probably get some hate for this, but I think if you put a crappie and a bluegill in the same batter and the same plate in front of you, you wouldn't be able to tell which one's which. But
Oh boy, to some people that I know, that might be a extremely big controversial statement.
like, all right, Wrighteous tackle, check him off the list, not going to him.
But hey, man, I mean, to each their own. That's what makes us. That's what makes everything about fishing great. Is everybody has that specific thing that they just prefer. Like, for instance, here in the Northeast in Jersey, I'm a saltwater guy. And one of the big fisheries around here is summer flounder. Everybody says, "Oh, they're delicious, they're great," which they are. But I prefer a fish that is much uglier, and everybody calls them trash fish, but they don't know the deliciousness of the sea robin. And I get a lot of hate for that too, so it's not really a big deal.
Well,
But
I'm not saying crappie's bad by any means because they're not. I mean, fish in general. I love all sorts of different kind of fish. Now, I've never had those two fish that you were talking about, but I'm sure I would love them.
yeah, I mean they're pretty good. I mean, to be honest with you, how I feel about freshwater fishing is I wouldn't say nervous, but like I would say a little bit worrisome about eating stuff that's in still water. Like if it's a river, I'd probably give it, more of a chance to eat it and stuff like that. But there's something about still water that just makes me like, there's something that's not, the water's not really filtrating all that, right? I don't know if I want to eat that.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that? Yeah, if maybe you can school me on something on like lake or pond fish. I mean, do you think that these fish are eating a bunch of junk in there?
No. I mean, pond fish maybe. I don't fish too many ponds, but
Yeah.
I mean, as far as lake fish go, at least around me, it might be a lake that's inland and whatever, but there's too many streams that connect to it. There's a river that connects to it somehow, it seems like. But definitely, that's why ice fishing around me is kind of sketchy sometimes, because there's so many springs and there's so many natural water flows that go into it.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is what I grew up on, so it's all I know. So I keep fish from lakes all the time.
So in your lake and river system out there in Michigan, what is like your go-to bait? What is what you prefer to use?
Depending on the time of year, I can tell you that early in the season, you'll see me go to a lake with a lipless tied on. So I mean, a lipless you can run at any depth, depending on what speed you're reeling it in at. But a lipless and soft plastic. So like Austin from Game Day or
Yeah.
Custom Baits, I used all their stuff, and
Absolutely, man. You've named two people that I've had on the show, and I actually found your channel through Justin over at Buzzin' Baits, and like I was telling you before, man, the three of you guys, I mean, without question, you guys are probably some of the three top bait makers that I have seen on all social media platforms over the past couple of years. I mean, you guys are spot on accurate. You are beyond transparent, showing people what you do, how you do it. And I mean, it's just the concept that you guys have for marketing yourselves and your lures, and I think it's off the charts amazing, and you guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. What we're doing, across the board, pretty much, it's not a secret. Anybody can do what we do, it seems like, and a lot of people have. Here recently, it just seems like, at least in the hard painting side of the world, there's been a lot of new people coming to the hard painting or hard paint world and
Yeah.
hard plastic world. But just teaching them different techniques and stuff. And I haven't really been involved on YouTube much, but I've had thousands of people tell me I should.
Yeah.
So I plan on getting a little bit involved in YouTube, and aside from TikTok, because it seems like that's where I spend all my time at. But
Yeah. I mean, you guys are doing great, like I said, man. But we are here on the Angler Talk show, so we got to talk about fishing. You said you like to target bass. That's your thing. Is there any type of other species? Like, what is the big fishery like in Michigan besides the walleye? Everybody knows about that, but like, what are some of the species that you guys have out there that maybe somebody who's planning a fishing trip out of their state that doesn't want to go to a place that's like known for this or known for that, maybe just target something different? What would you say to people who are thinking about maybe going to Michigan?
so anybody that's coming to Michigan, I would tell them, the bluegill and crappie fishing are great almost year round. Depending on what lake you can go to, you can catch them.
Yeah.
Flat out. For bass, largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, our river systems are loaded with smallmouth bass. They're everywhere. Largemouth bass primarily more in lakes. But my biggest, the most fun I have out of the whole year, it seems like, is salmon fishing. And
Salmon. Okay.
that's where it's at for me. So,
And what kind of salmon do you guys get out there?
so we have king salmon that they run in the rivers. So I go up to Baldwin every year, the Pure Marquette River.
Okay.
But we have king salmon that run in from Lake Michigan.
Wow, that's awesome, man. And I have not personally caught a salmon yet, but there was another guest on the show by the name of Captain Scott Tarnowski, who I am going to set up a charter with for next year to do this. And I honestly can't wait. I heard these things like the pull and scream drag. I love it. I wanna know what that's like.
It's insane, is what it is. It's now I've never saltwater fished like I know you have and stuff, but
Yeah.
for me that's the biggest fighting fish that I've ever caught is a salmon, and we go up every year and catch a bunch of them, but it never gets old. It's something that you don't get used to, so it's fun.
Yeah. It's definitely something that's going to keep you on your toes for real.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get one of those on the end of the line, and you'll know really quick.
So are you fly fishing for these, or are you going with your conventional or spinning reel setup?
So I do a lot of fly fishing up there. Between fly fishing, I tie my own flies. I don't advertise that a whole lot, but because I don't really necessarily like doing it. It's nothing
Yeah, I hear you.
my channel or
Keep
anything. But I tie my own flies. We'll go up there and stuff like that. You can either do that, or it has to be you can use a single prong hook and use those fake like rubber spawn, if you will.
Okay, I gotcha.
So we use a lot of those too.
Honestly, man, I know it's in front of you, and I want to look at it one more time. I know it's so pretty. Let me see that bluegill pattern you got in front of you again.
Yeah. So I got this bluegill pad. I actually have two bluegills here in front of me. So
Like
this,
like right now, how I feel is like how a 5-year-old feels in a candy store. I mean that thing is just freaking awesome.
so
That
just standard bluegill. This is at least what bluegill somewhat look like around me. And I did
yeah,
like kind of like a quote unquote exotic gill, if you will. A little bit different, same kind of layout. Just line structure different. I went with a little bit more of the, oranges and blues in it and stuff like that. But
absolutely, man. These are great, and I see that. These things kind of look like I'm not sure if they're still in business or not. But have you ever heard of Daddy Mac Lures?
no,
This was a company that years ago they were out and they were doing something similar. I mean, I still got to admit though, the painting is not as on point as yours, but they still made a hell of a swim bait, and then they just disappeared. I mean, I don't know if they went out of business. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they definitely just went quiet. I haven't heard from them in a while. Like, what company produces these swim baits that you're painting?
So I buy all my lures. I have a few different sites that I go to. Lurebuild.com, like that's like the biggest one that's coming up. It seems like I've been ordering more and more from Lurebuild. So it probably
Mhm.
goes Lurebuild and backwateroutfitting.com and then
Okay.
sugartips.com. And those are like my main three that I kind of stick to.
I got you, man. So not only with the top-notch quality paint job, you're still using an extremely quality product because I've heard of two of those three, and these are quality lures that are gonna last a long time. So
Oh yeah.
you're definitely doing it right. You're matching quality with quality. You're not putting quality on top of junk. So that's always a plus for sure. Yeah, man. So what do you see in the future for Righteous Tackle? Do you think you're finally gonna branch out and start building those rods you were thinking about?
So I've been I've been talking to my buddies. It's funny because like I have a decent sized following on TikTok, but locally here to me, not a lot of people know what I do. Now I've done some craft shows and stuff like that, and different fishing events, but a lot of people don't know the name Righteous Tackle yet locally to me.
Yeah.
Uh, we're gonna change that up. I don't know exactly where I'm going with this. Like I want to get into rod making and stuff, but I don't know when. I think branch out into different kind of baits. The the uh, the soft plastics world, at least for me and on TikTok itself, there's a lot of people that do it. There's a lot of people that do it very well, like Austin from Game Day, for example.
Yeah.
He does it very, very well. Now, I don't want to be on any kind of scale like that. But
Yeah.
for me, kind of what I want to do is pair up soft plastics with hard plastics. I just think that would be something that's a little unique. Sell them as a combo pack ish.
Definitely, man. I can see that working out for sure.
Yeah, like I don't know, make like a fire tiger worm, and a fire tiger like this one's not clear coated, so don't judge me too much. But make like one of these, but make it in a soft plastic and a hard plastic, and sell them as a combo pack. So I don't know, something like that.
That's awesome, man. That thing doesn't even have clear coat on it yet, and it's still beautiful. For the people watching and listening, where can they find you if they want to check you out? And I'm gonna drop some links down below.
For sure, absolutely. RighteousTackle.com. That's my website. You can go there anytime. Um, feel free to message us if you guys have any questions. Some people want more pictures, more specifics, and stuff like that. Absolutely. I'm pretty quick at responding to emails that are on the website and everything like that. So yeah, feel free to go to righteoustackle.com. That's WRIGHTEOUS TACKLE.com. Or you can find us on TikTok. That's where a lot of my social media is at. I have the other platforms, so I just don't spend enough time on them, like Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But YouTube is coming up, so YouTube is the next checklist.
And see you doing blowing up with a really big DIY type channel, teaching people how to paint. I mean, I think you can definitely hit that market on YouTube and blow up really, really quick with that because honestly, man, I can't paint a wall without having to do it twice. And watching you's got me like, man, what if I could do that? And if you just sat there and taught people how to do some of this stuff, I mean, the DIY world on YouTube is a big thing for sure, man.
Absolutely. I can tell you one of the special things I have on TikTok for my subscribers, and it's not like I have a ton by any means because I really don't. But my subscribers, I do have a lure maker pool in there where there's like 5 or 6 other lure makers in there that are smaller. And I don't want to say smaller than me, just they're following smaller, right? They're either just getting started or they just want to learn some techniques and stuff. And I actually FaceTime them or Skype them just like we're doing here. Spend a lot of time on FaceTime with them guys as well, just teaching them different stuff. And it's nothing, I'm no professional at this by any means. I just started. I came on TikTok in February 2022, so it hasn't been that long. And I started painting in December of 2021. We're at almost a year now. A year at the end of this month, and it's not like I'm an expert by any means, but I try to be different. I try to jazz some stuff up once in a while and show you guys something that you guys haven't seen. So.
And that you are different, my man. And please don't stop doing what you're doing because you are on the right path up the mountain, my man. You're doing a great job. And another thing for people to check you out with, you do a lot of giveaways. I actually saw you doing a live. I think it was Sunday or something like that. I mean, you were giving stuff away, and I'm just like, man, this is something that people need to get on because I tell you what, I want at least 3 or 4 righteous tackle lures in my tackle box when I hit the pond or the lake sometimes. That's for sure, man. And I hope everybody watching and listening goes and checks you out and becomes a fan like I did because I mean, not to sound like a little fanboy, but I mean, dude, your painting skills are off the freaking charts, dude, for real.
Well, I appreciate it a ton, and I've came this far in a year, so let's just hope I can double what I'm doing in 2023, and we'll be on the top of the market here. So that's the goal.
Absolutely, man. Well, I know you got a lot of stuff in front of you that you got to get painting, but thank you for taking the time to talk with us and stay righteous, brother.
For sure. Anytime, man. Stay righteous. Absolutely.
All right, brother. Well, that was a good time talking to James, man. And, I know I sounded like a little fanboy during that conversation between me and him, but I mean, guys, I don't feed you bull. You guys know that the people that I bring on here make quality products, and this kid is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, his paint work is spot on, and the canvases that he's buying are made by quality lure companies, and he's doing a phenomenal job. And I hope you all get on over to righteoustackle.com and check him out down in the links below, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed, man. So, like I said with him, stay righteous, get out there, bend some rods in tight lines.
I challenge thee.